For our shadows, we're gonna make a clean overlay. Cut a piece of fresh tracing paper that's about 24 inches long. So I have my 18-inch dimension this way. We're going to be putting a light source that is 10 inches to the right of our central plumb line, and we're going to go up from the horizon line 8 inches, and we need to cover our forms. So just want to make sure I have enough room for all of that. Here's my 10 inches from here. If I come up 8, okay, things look good. Now, tape this down. First, we need to register this. So we're gonna go ahead and mark our horizon line again and our center plumb line. And our third friend. Okay. We're going to measure over to the right of the central plumb line 10 inches. From here, we need to project a vertical and a plumb line. So grab your triangle, line it up with the horizon. We come down, we're going to continue up. Once you've done that, we want to indicate our light source or the vanishing point of light. In this exercise, that will be 8 inches up from the horizon line on this vertical. So, measure up, mark a point, and I'm going to circle that. Label it VPL for vanishing point of light. It also is the same thing as our light source. Now remember, underneath the light source, there's a vanishing point of shadow. We're going to indicate that along this line. Again, in this drawing, that will be 8 inches below the horizon line. So you're going to measure down from horizon line 8 inches. Indicate this point, circle it, and label it VPS for vanishing point of shadow. We're all set up. So for clarity, I went ahead and I retraced the outline of my cube and the outline of my cylinder. You might want to do that too. It's just a little easier than seeing through layers of tissue paper. We're going to start plotting our shadow with the cube, and that's because it has all these vertical edges, which are very friendly for shadow plotting. If you think back to that triangle that is formed between the light source, the vanishing point of shadow, and a edge of illumination, this is very clearly exemplified using vertical edges, and it's kind of the basis of more complicated versions of that, but it's a great starting point. So I'm going to be indicating my light rays and angle of illumination with an orange pencil, and to keep things from getting confusing, I will be plotting the lines that go from the vanishing point of shadow through my ground point of a vertical with blue. I've zoomed out here just so I can show you again where I'm going, right? So my vanishing point of light, my light source, my VPL is up here, 8 inches above the horizon line, and my VPS is down here. So when you see my ruler kind of off in the distance going to 2 different places, this is where they're going. They're going to be in the same place on your drawing. Take your long ruler and line it up to the vanishing point of light, VPL. And I'm going to start with this front edge because it's easy to see. So I'm looking for an intersection ultimately, and that means we're going to have to just draw a line longer than we need, and that will give us what we need to find where another point intersects it. So I'm just doing that. Okay. So this shows where a light ray would hit this edge of illumination. If you want, you can include the edge of illumination for clarity's sake. On our cube, it's going to be this line, and that is determined by the position of the light. So the next thing I'm going to do is intersect this line that I made by drawing a line that goes through the vanishing point of shadow and its corresponding ground point. So every vertical has pairs of points, right? The shadow edge and the ground point. Shadow edge, ground point. Shadow edge, ground point. Those are the two points by which we are finding these kind of points of cast shadow. So I take my blue pencil and I'm coming from vanishing point of shadow, VPS, through the ground point of my corresponding vertical. This intersection is going to be a defining point or corner on our cast shadow. I'm going to keep going, and I think that will become clearer. We'll go back to our light ray. We're going to go through this corner. So line it up to the vanishing point of light, and the corner on our edge of illumination. Again, we draw a little extra because we don't quite know. Next, we go from our vanishing point of shadow through its corresponding ground point. I'm using blue. Okay, 1 point, 2 points. That's from these guys coming down like that. We just have one more to find. So easy. So it goes the same way. Vanishing point of light through this edge of illumination. And find its corresponding ground point to the vanishing point of shadow. Whoops. Okay. So this gives me 1 point, which we don't get to see, but we need a second point and a third point. I'm going to circle those for clarity. This guy meets this guy. This guy meets this guy. Okay. Now, because our edge of illumination is a straight line, we have a very easy job here. We just need to connect these dots. So I come through there and there. And we go from here to here. Cool. And then it helps me to draw this edge as well, which was kind of a freebie. So I'll just color in our cast shadow for you to see. Pretty cool.